shock and sadness in the music.
Welcome back to the Black Ocean, ladies and gentlemen. This is the man known as the Great Black Shark, your host over here today. And I do hope everybody is doing very well that has joined us in the chat today. I see you, Sister Patricia Jenkins, Sister Brianna Naik, Brother William Kent. Salute to everybody that's coming into the chat room. Please do share this broadcast and hit the like button, because first and foremost, I would like to get started here with what I'm about to cover and lay out the way I'm going to cover this tragic topic here. I'm not going to be showing anything about the brother, and what happened to him. I'm pretty sure everybody has seen that circulating around, on social media. So we're not going to be showing any of that at all here today at all. So I just want to get that cleared up first and foremost. And I'd like to send condolences out to that young brother's friends and his family. I don't think he had any children. I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me. But I definitely want to send condolences out to that brother, man. Rest in peace to TakeOff, because it just... This, as you saw, the title of this broadcast is going to be a message of life to young black society. And we're going to get into the news reports of what they're saying happened. There's still investigations going on about it and everything. But this is something that, unfortunately, we're going to have to yet again use this as a teaching moment. And we're not going to blame this young brother for what happened to him. But we are going to discuss some things that could help somebody prevent this in the future, prevent young people from being caught up in these situations in the future. So, I just hope that, tonight's broadcast, whether you listen to this live or record it, you can sit down and discuss some of the things we're going to be talking about with it, with your children, with your, siblings, with your cousins, nieces, nephews, because see, the only people that are going to be able to help our community is going to be us. Okay. Everybody else will sing and dance with us. They want to mimic how we talk, how we dress, how we dance, all of that. But when it comes to things that affect our communities, like these types of tragedies, notice that everybody else is scattered to the wind, to the four corners of the globe. I'm talking about people outside of black society. Sure, there might have been a few people here or there saying this or that, but they don't feel this the way that we feel this in our communities when we lose our young ones. Because see, for me, I'm a Gen Xer, okay? I'm in my mid-40s, okay? I want to see all young black people, men and women, make it to where I'm at. At least make it to where I'm at. We should never have to see a young person in their 20s, man, hadn't even really started living life, whether you're a celebrity or not. We should never have to see them, taken from us like that in a tragic manner. So with that said, I'm going to share some of what the news reports were saying, and then I'm going to get into my commentary about some things that I think can help prevent this in the future, and the direction that I hope a lot of the older rappers and entertainers, and athletes will come together and hopefully try to turn some things around, okay? Because see, it's only gonna come from us. It's only gonna come from us. If we don't care, nobody else will. So with that said, for those of you that are not aware, I'm pretty sure everybody should be, we're gonna play some of what the news report was saying that happened to the brother, and we're gonna get into a discussion about how to prevent situations like this and some things that you could do to not have yourself in these situations if you're a young person. So with that said, let's listen to the news report.
World tonight, a Grammy-nominated member of the rap group Migos was shot and killed today outside a bowling alley in Houston. Police say the rapper TakeOff was there for a private party along with his uncle, who is also in the group. Investigators are asking for the public's health as they search for his killer. TakeOff was the youngest member of the award-winning trio, which had a slew of hits, including the song Versace. He was 28 years old.
A lot of the people that were there fled the scene and did not stick around to give a statement. So we're asking them to either call us at the Homicide Division at 713-308-3600, or if they would like to remain anonymous, they can call Crime Stoppers at 713 222-TIPS. We're looking for any information at this time, any videos, any information. We do know that the media has received a lot of phone calls, text messages, Twitter, tweets, vines, videos. We need all of y'all to send those to us so we can solve this case.
So before we get further into like the news report, I want to stop it right there, and I want to say something to every young person that happens to be listening to this broadcast this evening. If you know anything about that, even if you have to do it anonymously, you turn the bastards in that did that. You always turn them in when they do something like this to people in our community that wasn't doing nothing. Because from what I understood, that brother was peaceful. I'm not going to sit here and claim that I was a fan of his music, but I'm going to tell you what I am a fan of. I'm a fan of young black life. I really am. I'm a fan of my people, and I love my people. So I'm going to say this again. It's not snitching. Snitching is if you doing a crime with somebody and then y'all tell on one another. If you tell something that you know about some dusty, no good bastard that took somebody out in our community, that's not snitching. See, we don't need to protect people like this that harm innocent people among us like this. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you know, there was shooting dice. You heard the news report. It was at a bowling alley. Granted, yes, at that level of success, there's certain things that you should not do. But I'm going to tell you, man, that was no reason from what I've seen for that brother to lose his life. Y'all out there, whoever you are, if you hearing this and you do know something, you turn them people in, man. Turn them people in so that man family can get some justice and they can be put where they need to be away from the rest of us in black society. Because see, we're gonna have to draw a line in the sand with that. If you get into it with some people and had nobody pulled out no weapon, I'm going to tell y'all something, young brothers and sisters. Y'all just going to have to go back to throwing them hands, or better yet, before a quarrel bursts forth. And yeah, I got to get biblical for a minute here. Before a quarrel bursts forth, you take your leave. You take your leave. Everything isn't something where you have to prove something to somebody, especially when you get to that brother's level of success where he was. You got the whole world ahead of you. Sometimes, man, even if you're not at that level of success, I want this to stick to even older black people. As long as it's just words and had nobody putting their hands on you yet, hadn't threatened your family, nothing like that with no type of weapon, you can let that go. Be like, hey, man, you got it, man. You don't have to prove nothing to nobody until you are in mortal physical danger, okay? You can leave them situations at any time and go to another spot. Look, I'm going to tell y'all like this, right? For the people that are, you know, talking about the activity they was doing, which was shooting dice, here's a suggestion, young people, if you just got to do that, right? I don't believe in participating in stuff like that, especially if you're gambling for money. But I'm going to give you a couple of alternatives before we move on to the rest of this here. If you just got to do it and you at that level, hey, go to a casino. Professional gambling, they got security there. Anybody try something stupid, okay, it's in an environment where, okay, there's some security there. Okay, option 2, if you don't want to do that, remember, you're a boss at this point. Once you reach success level of the brother like TakeOff or anybody, you can bring that to your house where you can screen who come in. It's just you and your family or your friends that you know that, okay, if we're going to do this and it's going to be for money, ain't nobody going to take it personal. Hey, we at this point now where why we going to be mad about us shooting dice and you know, if I lose, I lose. Okay, you getting money like that, you shouldn't have to worry about that. I'm just giving some things, some alternatives. So if you just got to do that, try to do whatever you're going to do out here, young brothers and sisters, safely. Because see, at the end of the day, if the dispute is just over something trivial, things that you can reacquire, okay? If it's that important to you, you can't afford to lose no money, don't be out there doing that. But things that you can reacquire. Young people, please hear what I'm about to say to you. And those in this chat, if you have young people in your family, you need to impress this upon them as often as you can. Do not, when you leave your house, get into no situation where you are going to cause your family to mourn or you cause another black person's family to mourn. It is not worth it. It is not worth it. Like I said, if it's just got to go there, man, put them damn guns down and pick up your hands. Live to fight another day. If it's just got to go there. Everything, the answer to everything can't be pulling out a gun. It can't be. You got to think about, okay, the only time that you should have to use your Second Amendment right is if your life is being personally threatened in a mortal way where it's just unavoidable. You don't pull out no gun because somebody said something you don't like. You don't pull out no gun because somebody get into a physical struggle and there's no weapons involved. We got to talk about this because, see, conflict resolution is something that's rarely discussed in our community. Okay, there's levels to it. The best level that you want to try to employ when it comes to conflict resolution, the proper kind, you want to try to put fires out before it gets so big. Okay, so let's just say we're going to speak hypothetically because I'm not saying that this is what occurred. We don't have all the facts about that yet. They're still working on things, but I'm going to give you a hypothetical situation. Let's just say you go to the bowling alley. We're going to use that particular location. You go to a bowling alley. Okay, your crew there. Couple other people walk in. Let's just say y'all had some problems in the past. Okay, so now if I'm the eldest in that crew and I know this and I see this, again, this is hypothetical. I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm just giving an example of how young people should handle these types of things. If I'm the eldest and my crew is there and then somebody else walk in that one of my cousins and one of my partners done had a problem with, and I see that, I'm like, nah, hold on, man. I'm like, first thing I'm going to do, I may walk over there and be like, hey, man, what's going on, man? We didn't know y'all was going to be here or whatever. Hey, y'all, you and my cousin good? We good? Okay. Depending on what type of energy I'm getting from that, I'll go back and talk to my cousin and be like, listen, man, check this out. I know you and old buddy still got problems. We can go to another spot, man. We got bread. We can go anywhere in the city we want to go. Sometimes that's where you have to handle those types of things. Okay, and if you know it's so bad when they come in there, you can just go ahead and leave then. See, you ain't got to stay there and try to prove nothing. I'm just saying that if you ever find yourselves in a situation like that, okay? See, what a leader does, a leader always assesses a situation and say, okay, what's going to be the best decision for me and mine? Okay, what's the best decision for me and mine so that none of my family got to mourn, none of their family got to mourn. See, you always have to think things out. And see, that's something that all of us can remember when we were young people and we had tempers and we didn't know any better about things. You know, we had to learn certain things, especially those of us, you know, for people that didn't have their parents to raise them. And even if you did have your parents to raise you, your parents ain't going to be with you 24/7. Okay, so you have to get yourselves back to, young brothers and sisters, a place where you value each other's lives, man. See, we all get angry. That is a basic human emotion. We get angry about things that are said. We definitely get angry about things that are done to us, right? But see, here's where the discipline comes in, and then here's where the basic compassion for each other comes in. If what you do to me isn't something so egregious where I have to defend myself, the first thing you got to get your hold of yourself, especially nobody touched you, you have to get yourself to a point where you say, you know what? Before I do what I'm about to do, and this goes somewhere where it's bad for both of us, is it worth it? Always talk to yourself in your mind and say, is this worth it? Before I do anything. And see, everybody knows themselves better than anybody, okay? Don't nobody know you like you. If you know that you have a quick temper, if you know that it's certain things that just don't rub you the right way, and you start seeing the environment go that way, as far as reading the room, that's something that everybody needs to learn how to do. Read a room, read a crowd, read people's energy. If you start seeing things go a certain way, you can be like, hey, man, you know what, guys, I'm out. You ain't got to give nobody no explanation. You don't owe nobody no explanation. The minute that you start to feel uncomfortable in a situation, you bounce and take your leave of it. You take your leave of it because, see, sometimes I'm gonna share something with you. In the days of my youth, when I used to hang out there in the streets and everything, I'm gonna tell you what have saved me many times from getting involved in certain things that would have had my family in situations, or saved me from having to do things to other people that would have had their family in mourning. Your gut feeling, your gut instinct, it could hit you out the blue. It don't have to make sense to nobody but you. When you start feeling like something isn't right or something's not wrong, even if you can't all the way figure it out, you trust that. You trust that instinct within inside you, because that is your God-given warning system that's telling you, hey, you need to leave here. This isn't, nobody else has to understand it. It don't have to make sense to nobody. You leave. Trust that gut instinct. And see, another thing that I want to point out too, we talking about the male side of this, but here's an important part of this that I haven't seen a lot of people point out yet, and I'm going to have to be the one to do it. Let me tell y'all something. Young ladies, let me talk to y'all. Young ladies, let me talk to y'all. I understand that a lot of y'all want to be out here on these scenes. You want to be seen where all the in crowd is at. You want to be right there in the middle of things. Some of y'all addicted to drama. Unfortunately, some of y'all go back and forth and stir up things just to see stuff happen. Not saying that's what happened with this. Let me be clear. I'm not saying that's what happened with Brother TakeOff's situation here. But I am speaking on that because it does occur out here. Ladies, sometimes it's situations where y'all don't need to be around certain individuals in certain environments. You better listen to your parents and other people when they trying to tell y'all this, man. For those of you that are in your teens and in your early 20s and you trying to get a taste of what the club life and the nightlife out is, and if you are able to find yourself amidst these celebrities, sometimes you might not want to be around them depending on what they have going on. You really might not. See, the most precious two precious things that we have is life itself that we are given when we're born into this world, and then the time that we exist in, how we manage and use our time. Those are two non-renewable resources. Once either one of them is gone, we can't get them back. You can get money back, material possessions, clothes, whatever, but you cannot get any lost life back. You cannot get any time back. Okay, you better be very wise with how you manage those two things. And it comes with learning discernment. Okay, it's okay to be the person that you ain't at every spot. Okay, and I'm speaking particularly to the young ladies now. See, y'all gonna have to get to a point too where there better be somebody with the wisdom in your crew enough to say, hey girl, nah, whatever they got going on, I know so and so got beef. Nah, man, we'll catch them another time. See, you better learn to read the room too. You better learn to read the room too, because I'm gonna expand upon what I just explained earlier. If you know that a group of brothers got some particular issues, okay, and you've heard about it, or if you happen to see them get into it or whatever, you know it's kind of some bad blood. You in there chilling, doing your thing. Let's just say I'm gonna give it to you this way, right? Because I want this to be a teaching lesson. Let's just say 5 sisters walk into a scene, similar to where the brother TakeOff lost his life, unfortunately. Okay, 5 of y'all came together. Hopefully you're using the buddy system, because that's very important for young ladies if you're going to be out here in this nightlife hanging around. So 5 of y'all come in together. Y'all in the little place doing your thing or whatever. Y'all done kind of spread out. All of a sudden, one of y'all see, somebody done walked in, and they don't get along with them folks that you kicking it with. What you supposed to do right then is find everybody that you came with and say, hey, whoa, girl, come here, let me talk to you for a second. Whoa. You remember when so-and-so got into it with XYZ last week? They over here right now. We may better leave. It ain't worth it. Let's go. Let's go right now. Because, see, you ain't in no position to stop nothing if something go down. It's better for you to take your leave. Think about your safety first. Again, I'm not saying that that's what happened with Brother TakeOff's situation. I'm just providing some alternative examples of what a wise way to carry yourself is when you're in these environments. Okay. And see, you always have to watch the company that you're with, brothers and sisters out here, no matter your age, because see, like, you might be in a situation. This is one of the drawbacks about being in places where a lot of people are, whatever, and these parties. If you don't know everybody, you don't know if they just came from doing something 30 minutes ago that's got somebody looking for them. Okay, you don't know that. So you really have to make sure you understand who's going to be in these environments where you at. You better understand, okay, if they got any kind of issues with one another, if you start seeing the energy in the room shift, pay attention to all these things if you're going to be out here. See, hanging out comes with some lessons and maturity. You have fun. You're supposed to have fun, but you do it safely in a way where you go back home to your family. Okay? That's what this broadcast is going to touch on here tonight, because, you know, hopefully this will help save somebody's life and prevent it. You know, some of the things we're going to discuss here tonight. So we're going to get further into a little more of what we're discussing just now, but I want to play the rest of this news report. So let's pay attention to what the brothers are going to say here.
We're looking for anything to help us. From there, as the chief said, we want to find justice for this family. They're going through a lot right now. And the only thing that we can do is hope that y'all reach out and assist us in any way to lead to evidence that will help us to apprehend and get charges and arrest on the person responsible for the death of TakeOff.
Thank you. Let me say something right quick, just to follow up. I just want to say something to our city. It's Houston. And every brother and sister in the neighborhoods, I'm calling you to action, to step up. There were 40 people at least at this event. And people left possibly out of fear. I ask you one thing, and I want this to resonate with everybody. What if it was your brother? What if it was your son? You would want somebody to step up. So please step up, get the information to us so we can bring some closure to this family who's hurting right now. And I'm calling upon everybody, hip hop.
So I want to stop it right there and address what the chief of police down there in Houston was saying here, right? Okay, so what he's saying in general is correct. But here's the other part that he must understand. Here's the other part that law enforcement in general must understand dealing with situations like this. It's not just as simple, depending on what the situation is. If you got people that are involved in gangs or whatever the case may be, it's not just as simple as them just coming forward. You're going to have to make sure you provide them some protection. And the best way for them to really come forward, depending on what's going on, is to do it anonymously. Okay, because you don't want to do something that puts yourself in a situation where now they're after you. Because there's been plenty of situations where, you know, people try to do the right thing and now they threatening their family or what have you. And then sometimes that goes left and you got another tragedy on your hands. So you do have to be wise in how you do these things. But again, as I said earlier, tell on these bastards anonymously. They're going to have to go. It's going to have to get to a point where we just don't put up with it no more. We don't, because see, you have the right to be safe when you go out somewhere. You have the right to be safe in your community. You really do. You have the right to be safe if you're not out here trying to harm nobody. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and address the pink elephant in the room. Again, if you're just coming in, you know, we're not blaming our brother TakeOff here. We just discussing some things that could give other young people alternatives and help them avoid situations like this by teaching. I got to cover this for the young black men and black women. I hope this resonates with you and it reaches you in a way where you will absorb what I'm saying, because if I'm talking to you over here, I'm talking to you because I value your lives. I want to see you get to my age and get well beyond that. You know, I really do. You know, it hurts me to my soul, man, when I hear about young people dying at an age that I was and made it well past. You know, at that really does something to me. I just cannot put into words, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna go ahead and address this, right? And this for older people too. Older people should know better, but I want the young people to listen. Understand something. I get it today in the culture for many reasons. A lot of people like to drink. A lot of people like to get high. I am not a proponent of doing that, especially if you're going out to a public place. But if you are going to do this, if that's your choice in your life, you done got to an age where that's what you decide to partake in. Let me explain some things to you. It is better if you're going to drink to be stationary somewhere at your home in a safe environment where you control. That way, if you're going to get tipsy, you're going to get drunk or whatever, you around people that you trust, you safe. Hey, if you decide to throw a couple back to the point where you done went past your drinking limit, which is not something I advocate, but at least you'll be home where you can crash in your bed or your family member's bed. You'll be good to go. Okay, you ain't got to worry about nobody doing nothing to you. If you gonna get high, same thing. I really wish our people wouldn't, partake in that. But hey, look, some people gonna do that. I get it. Different reasons. Some people may be trying to cope with things. I'm gonna tell you like this. Unless it's some chronic pain that you're dealing with, like physically, if you're trying to deal with some type of emotional trauma, I would recommend you seek professional therapy so that you won't have to rely on a chemical crutch, because that's not really gonna help you with your issue. Okay, I mean, I'm just gonna tell it like it is. But if you're just doing it for recreational purposes, I want everybody to make sure you discuss what I'm about to say with the young people that you care about. Whether it's alcohol, whether it's you choose to get high on weed or whatever you're doing, understand that everybody handles different substances in different ways. You may be the type of person where you can smoke as much weed as you want and you cool and calm, which is what most people usually are. Okay, you might be the type of person you can drink as much as you want and you cool and calm. You don't, hey, you just enjoying your alcohol. But see, what you got to understand is that's you. These substances affect other people in different ways. Your choice to get high, whatever, if you're going to do that. I'm not advocating it again for anybody coming in. Don't think that. We just talking facts because we got to deal with real world things as they are, right? And we have to talk to people with love so that they absorb what's being said. But if your thing of choice is to do some weed and you at a party, you don't know what everybody else is high on. Somebody might be high off X pills. Somebody might be high off cocaine, acid, whatever it is. They might be high on something else that take them way out the zone from where you are. And so the least little thing that happens, they're going to be on edge and paranoid just waiting to do something to somebody. See, young brothers and sisters, men and women, these are things you have to take into account when you're at these gatherings with people in these parties. Yes, you have to have fun, but see, your definition of fun may not be the next person's definition of fun when it comes to these substances that are often being used. And see, the thing about any type of substance, no matter what the reaction you have with it, if you are not coherent in your right frame of mind and then something like this happens, you kind of at a disadvantage to react to it, okay? You at a grave disadvantage. It slows your reaction time down. You're not really going to be as aware as you should be to get away from the danger. So these are things to take into account. And I hope everybody discusses that with your young ones. A lot of times when the older people try to talk to them, they think that we so out of touch and we don't know nothing, and we try to tell them that you ain't doing nothing that we had done back then. The only difference is you got social media today, okay? So we always want to speak life into our young ones, and we want to talk to them in a way where they don't take it where it's like we're ridiculing them or we trying to talk down to them. Look, I'm going to tell y'all something else that'll help too to get young people to listen to you, right? And I hope that, for those of you in the chat room here for this broadcast tonight, if you hadn't done this in a long time to a young person in your life, and hopefully you do this all the time if it's your direct biological children, man, walk up to your niece or your cousin, man, just hug them for no reason. Yeah, they gonna clown you. They gonna wonder what the hell wrong with you, but you let them know you love them. And you hug them in a way and tell them verbally, listen, you are important to me. I love you. You're an important part of this family. And every time that you walk out this house, I want you to remember me saying this to you. And when young people start to feel that and they really understand that you mean what you say, let me tell you something, man. They're going to think twice about the things they do out there, Because see, today, a lot of these people, even these celebrities, like, unfortunately, what happened to our brother TakeOff, even in that environment, a lot of times these people really don't feel like their family members care about them, man. And I'm not saying that the brother TakeOff, that's the way he felt. I'm just speaking in general here, so I don't want anybody to misunderstand what I'm saying. But you make sure that you let these young people know that you care about them, man. Let them know that I'm connected to you through our blood, and that means something to me. So whatever you do out here, whatever decision that you make, please understand that if you don't have no other person in the family that care about you, I do. See, sometimes we get so busy with our lives that we forget to say this to our loved ones. You got to think about it. It's hard to be a black person in America. I don't care whether you have a lot of money, okay, whether you have or have not. It is a hard existence to be a black person in America because, we got everybody in the dominant society and the buffer class groups against us. And then, unfortunately, we got people in our own communities that hate us. So love is something that we have to try to extend to all the people around us that will receive it. Okay, because it is beneficial for more than just saying it. When somebody know that you really love them, they are quick to listen to you, and you're able to reach them in a way that nobody else can, that they don't think loves them. Okay, that's between everybody, every relationship, but we talking in like the context of family. Okay, so I want y'all to be able to reach the young ones in your families, so that hey, when they go out here, they got that in the back of their mind. They're thinking, hey man, whatever they gonna do over there, I can't do that, man, because that might take me away from my family. And I know the pain that that's going to cause them. You see what I'm saying? See, let me tell y'all something, right? It is not wrong for you to defend yourself if somebody attacks you. I'm not going to tell nobody not to do that. But now you need to use some discernment and the level of force that you use to do it. Because again, if there were no other weapons pulled out, there shouldn't have been no guns involved in this, man. Shouldn't have been no guns involved in this at all, man. See, I'm going to tell you something else that I taught my cousins too before we get to the rest of what I'm going to show y'all here, right? I've taught my cousins that when you hanging out together, first of all, when you going somewhere, make sure that y'all got a protocol. Like, okay, if something do happen in here, first thing we do is find where everybody at. Whatever signal you come up with, using your cell phone, whatever the case may be, you make sure you get everybody together so that if y'all have to leave, you leave together. Okay. Other thing that you do is, if it's a situation where something is about to happen with somebody, don't wait till it get to the point where the words get so heated and something finna happen. Go ahead and get your people right then. Be like, hey man, whoa, that's my cousin, man. He done had too much to drink. Don't worry about it, bro. I got it, man. Y'all, it's good. Everybody get whoever like come there with you, whatever side you on or whatever crew you with. Go ahead and get your people before it get to that point, man. Don't be pulling out camera phones thinking that you finna get something funny recorded and trying to get clout off of it, because as we've seen too many times, it turns into a situation where it's deadly now. It turns into a situation where somebody's mourning now. We done seen this too many times. What I'm saying to you young people is, you have the power to turn these things around, right? The police chief here mentioned that he wanted to get together with the rappers and the entertainers in the community. But see, here's the thing. What happened to our brother TakeOff, it didn't have nothing to do with the music. It was just, unfortunately, being in the wrong place at the wrong time and not realizing that, hey, young brother, the dice game, you supposed to have elevated above that, man. This ain't your thing no more, brother. It's other ways to have fun. See, we have to evolve in life as we get to certain levels. We're supposed to outgrow certain things, okay? Again, we're not blaming that brother for his death, because he didn't see that coming. He probably had no idea that things would turn violent. From what I understand about the young man, they say he was very peaceful, very quiet. Didn't really get into nothing like that, as far as I know, okay? So, again, if the police chief is talking about getting the rappers in the Houston community together, he gonna have to understand this, that you can talk with them, but until they organize amongst themselves and come up with like a protocol. And I'm gonna give you my idea, right? If I was a rapper of status and I had like some seniority in the rap game, I'm gonna tell you what I would advocate to do, and this is something that I hope some of them start to do. There needs to be some type of organized institution that only black rappers, black American rappers, run and control, where you educate these young people that will listen on how to carry themselves. Okay, young man, you done got here to this point, or young woman, you done got here to this point. These are some do's and don'ts. Let me give you the game on this. Okay, take them under your wing if they'll allow it. I know that's easier said than done, because a lot of them today, they're getting a lot more money than the older rappers. And so a lot of times I've heard some of the older rappers saying them kids won't listen. But see, here's the thing you got to understand, like I was talking about before. One thing that older people better remember when you're talking to younger people, they can tell if you're sincere or not. So you can't just come at them talking at them or trying to bite their head off about something. You got to approach them with love so that they feel that and be like, okay, you know what? This old head trying to give me some game. Let me sit down and listen to he or she, right? Let's see what they have to say. Okay? So when you start to come at them like that, then they'll lend you their ear. So my suggestion for the older rappers is like, get together and start forming things where you start reaching out and interacting with these young bloods more, man. So that they start to realize that, okay, hey, you know, this rapper right here made it to this age and they don't hardly be involved in nothing. They need some people to show them how to do that. Okay? If they don't never hear it from nobody, they just figure like, all right, it is what it is. So those relationships are going to have to change, right? So that's what the brother's going to need to understand. But let's let him continue further. He's got a couple other things he wants to say.
Artists in Houston and around the nation, we got to police ourselves. It is so many talented individuals, men and women, in that community who, again, I love and I respect. And we all need to stand together and make sure nobody tears down that industry. And I'm calling to start here in Houston, here and possibly as early as next week. I want to meet with some of our artists and see how we can taper things down.
Okay, so again, you heard him saying that he want to meet with some of the artists and see how he can taper things down. But see, here's the thing. Like I said, I'm going to say it again. It's going to have to come from within first, and it's going to have to be without non-black interference. It can't be something where these industry execs got their hands in the middle of it, because they don't give a damn about these young black artists. Unfortunately, a lot of times we've seen when they pass, in these tragic circumstances, these labels have insurance policies on them. And you know what? I would love to understand and know if that was the case with the young brother TakeOff here, man. His family better be on that when they get a chance to grieve and take care of business here, because I know they're hurting, man. That's got to tear them apart, man. You know, and see, let me say something to you young people out here now, man. Listen to me, right? I know everybody's upbringing is different, but if you did grow up with a mother, father, grandfather, whoever raised you, I don't care how old you get, you better understand that those people love you, man. They love you, man. Make sure that your decision making, your thought process, it keeps in mind more than just what you want to do out here. Don't take yourself away from your family members, man, because see, that pain right there, I'm gonna tell y'all, man, that's some of the worst pain you'll ever feel in your life, for a loved one to be taken from you prematurely. You know, especially like, you know, if you just saw them and y'all had a good time and everything, or even the worst case scenario, don't have no falling out with somebody. Then you mess around and find out that person's gone, man, that will tear you apart in the worst way. Now, I have never experienced that, but I know some people that have. I'm not saying that was the case in this brother's life or what have you, so don't anybody misconstrue my words here. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to that particularly, I always try not to let a long period of time go, especially with your family members, before you resolve any type of minor conflicts you have. I ain't talking about somebody did you some egregious harm. I'm talking about if it's something minor, and then like, okay, some time passed, y'all cool off, one of the things about that in particular, when it comes to family disputes, again, I'm not talking about nothing egregious where somebody was harmed, but we have this pride of, well, like, I ain't gonna say nothing to deal unless they say something to me. Sometimes somebody got to be humble enough to say, you know what, we got into it, that was silly, but hey, that's my brother, my sister, my cousin, and I still love them. Let me try. Now, you may try, they might still be upset. Cool, at least the attempt was made. And see, don't think that attempt doesn't mean anything, because again, I just said a lot of times pride gets in the way. So you push that pride to the side. They might not accept it right then, but at least they will see. They'll be like, okay, that's my family, and they try to reach out. They'll come around. We talking about minor things now. We're not talking about serious things where there was harm. But I want to get further into the preventative measures of these situations here, right? Because again, this young brother TakeOff was 28 years old. Young people, when you're out here and you deciding to do whatever it is you're going to do for fun, you need to make sure that the activity that you're doing is going to be something positive. Now, it was positive at a bowling alley, but see, a lot of people might take issue with this. That dice shooting, man, and stuff like that, where you gambling for money, that really should have been something else, man. That could have been another activity. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that something else should have been chosen in its place is what I'm saying, right? And see, okay, to the sisters, okay, because there were women in attendance. If you really care about them dudes that you hanging with or whatever, here's where you use your power of femininity to try to persuade them to do something else. I mean, especially if you know that certain people might have, had like issues with one another. See if you can, if you gonna stay there, I'm saying. See if you can do something to diffuse them or change their mind. I mean, hey, the women that we care about can influence us. So these are some things that the young ladies could do if you're gonna stay in these environments. You better be paying attention to what's going on, right? Okay, so let's go further into some things that could be done to prevent these situations, right? If you saw that video, oh man, it's even painful just to talk about it for me. But if you saw the clip that they had, like, when the altercation took place, one of the things you better be very careful about when you're hanging out with young people is when two people are arguing, understand that usually every time somebody has been taken from us or it leads to a physical altercation, an argument precedes that, okay? An argument often precedes that situation. So when you see that occurring, start looking at how the room around you is moving. Is it a bunch of people crowding up? Do it look like people reaching in their pockets and stuff to try to pull out weapons? These are things that you're going to have to keep your eyes and ears open for. And at that point, it's probably not going to be too much you can say to do anything about nothing. That's, again, the time for you to take your leave with whoever you came there with, okay? That's going to be the time for you to say, you know what? This going to go somewhere where we can't control it. Let's ride. Let's go, okay? I always try to keep yourself in the thought process and the mindset of the things that we do. Okay, for entertainment, let's make sure that it's nothing that could even lead to us getting into altercations, right? Everybody over here already knows what Neely Fuller Jr. says about gatherings. If it's not constructive or anything of that nature, you already know what our elder says about that. And I happen to agree with him to a large measure on that, okay? I mean, there's nothing wrong with celebrating and having fun. Again, I'm not telling nobody not to do that. What I'm saying is I don't want you to be in a situation where you lose your life at 28 years old, okay? That should never have to happen. It should never have to happen, right? Because, see, one of the things that's going to tell in the coming days how much people really cared about this young brother and people around him and his family. The people that were there know what happened. They know exactly what happened. The video and that we've seen or whatever, we can't really make out too much. But the people that were there, the men and the women, they know what happened to this brother. They know. And like I said, I understand if they don't want to come out and just put their identities out there and tell it, but they need to tell anonymously, man, because again, that is not snitching. Telling on people that's harming people in our community for senseless reasons, man, that is not snitching. They have to go. We can't hold on to them kinds of people. And see, I'm going to say something else here during this broadcast tonight. If we really want to get our societies and communities where they need to be, we're going to have to get rid of people that's trying to protect folks that do things to harm us in our community. We're going to have to. Okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and address this too now while I'm talking about it. Yes, I did see the comments that DJ Academics made talking about street culture, black culture. Man, listen, let me tell you something, DJ Academics. Don't you never open your mouth to speak talking about our culture when where you come from is one of the most violent places in Jamaica. Don't even go there, brother. Don't even go there. Black culture is not street culture. That's what you think it is. You came over here from a violent culture in the city where you from over there. I've been over to Kingston, Jamaica. I know what's going on over there right now. Don't ever fix your mouth to talk about my people over here and what we got going on. Because see, truth be told, to be honest with you, a lot of the violence that's going on over here now, when you start to look at this gang banging and the people that's got all this food that's going on, if we really gonna decipher what's going on, a lot of these people are non-FBA. They really are. I'm not saying that we don't have it in our community, but really, to be honest with you, a lot of that gang banging and stuff like that, a lot of foundational black Americans ain't even on that like that no more. That's played out to a certain extent. It really is. So DJ Academics, I want you to understand that. Cause see, you got a very disrespectful mouth, man. You got a very disrespectful mouth. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. You gonna keep right on with your mouth? While you was talking about black culture, street culture, I got to call you out on this. I noticed something about you, DJ Academics. You have a real bad propensity for jumping up and getting buck on women. I seen that situation there that he was in. You got a bad propensity for trying to blow up on a woman. I don't never see you do that to no man. I'm gonna tell you something though, and I'm saying this out of love to him. You gonna mess around and do that to one of these women, even though he say he don't hang out in the streets, and she gonna be connected to somebody out there in the streets, and they gonna come see about you. So all that blowing up at women while you worrying about what's going on with our culture, you better get that under control. Especially if you're gonna be hanging out with them fresh and fit clowns. Yeah, I had to go ahead and take it there, but again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna keep y'all too long on this. I just wanted to go ahead and speak on it in a way where hopefully it will put some constructive and positive information out there and remind young people to be mindful of the things that they're doing when they're having fun. The environments that they're in, I know is not fair, but things have changed today. It has. Our young people deal with so much that a lot of these things we have dealt with, but it's gotten worse as generations have progressed. And it puts them in situations where it's like they have to grow up very fast. That's one thing that I really hate, when a lot of our young people don't just get to be young. You know, speaking particularly of like the young teenagers, but again, I look at TakeOff, man. I got cousins, man, that's his age, man. You know, I mean, it's just like when I think about, you know, him passing the way he did, we don't know what that brother could have became, man. And see, you know, I want to say this before I wrap this up. I always learn to see the value in other black people, even if I have a disagreement with you or I don't see eye to eye with you. Unless you try to do me some harm, I don't want to take you away from your family. I hope you don't want to take me away from mine. I don't know what you could become. We have to get to that point where we start looking at each other and saying, okay, I don't know what that brother or sister could be. So when we start to have that kind of value for one another, you know what we do? Instead of trying to harm one another, we're either more inclined to protect one another or say, okay, if I can't deal with you or I can't agree with you, I'll just let you go your way in peace. That's what we're going to have to get to with this stuff, man. So we're going to be pushing proper and positive conflict resolution over here with things like this when they occur. I mean, it's like, for me, I wish I could turn back the hands of time, man, and prevent a lot of these things that we see with our young people from happening. But, you know, I don't have that ability. So we're going to have, instructions for them. And again, the biggest thing that I can say, we're going to have to make sure we give them those instructions in love in a way that they receive it and try to guide them as much as possible. Right. You know, because a lot of these young people out here, even though they reached that age that he was 28, have a lot of money. I'm going to tell y'all something, right? you can get money and get to that age and still be trying to find yourself. You know, he was a grown man, but see, there's a lot of people that when they get that kind of money, they still trying to find who they are. And one of the things I want to make sure I impress upon young people, because I think about the situation with PNB Rock. It's okay if you're not a street person. You don't have to go out there and try to get no street dude rep. If you're a rapper, you can just rap about what they do. You don't have to try to live that lifestyle. You don't. That's okay. Don't let nobody force you into being somebody that you're not. Okay? If you the dude that you know, hey, your thing might be, I don't know, anime, video games, whatever, you be that. You ain't got to conform to nobody else's standards. Don't let nobody make you into something that you know you're not. Because see, what happens is, if you're put into that situation and you try to be something that you're not, you're going to be in environments that you're not ready to deal with too. So again, I'm not saying that about the brother TakeOff. I'm saying that about any young person that might be in a situation where somebody's trying to pressure them to be somebody that they're not. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to bring this message to you. I hope that you got some constructive out of it. You know, again, rest in peace to that brother TakeOff and his family. Please do surround the young people in your lives with your love and let them know that they are valued. Let them know that they are precious. With that said, I'm going to close the broadcast right here. I hope that all of you will make it to the Foundational Black American Rally that we're having in D.C. on the 5th. It is going to be a momentous occasion, and we're going to be discussing things that are positive so that we can help our own people. And one day, hopefully, these things like this will be something that are so rare that it's almost unheard of. I love y'all, family. Take care of yourselves. I'll see y'all in future content.
Hey, what's going on? This is Tariq Nasheed, and I am in Washington, D.C. right now at Freedom Plaza. This is the location where we're going to have the FBA Rally for Reparations on Saturday, November 5th, 2022. We got Dr. Boyce Watkins, Teslin Figueroa, Riza Islam, Professor James Small, Dr. Kaba, so many phenomenal people, and many, many more. This is the most important rally that we've had in modern American history because this is the first time that we've gotten together as a group collectively to come to the powers that be and demand specific tangibles for foundational Black Americans. You don't want to miss this, ladies and gentlemen, so be here. Freedom Plaza, Washington, D.C., November 5th, 2022. For more information, go to rallyforreparations.com. That's rallyforreparations.com.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I'm making it easy. Yeah, make weather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. Pick it up.
There are a lot of misconceptions about Maroons. Typically in literature, whites will say that the Maroons were uncivilized, they were unorganized, they were lewd, they were barbaric. These were the people who lived in the bush.
There is no other group on the planet Earth that have taken on the devil the way we have, in his own house.
Some estimates say that there are about 50,000 Maroons that you can find per year throughout the Americas.
Great Dismal Swamp was the area between that Virginia, North Carolina, the eastern border area. This was a popular area for a lot of not only runaways, but natives. A lot of the black natives hung out there. The Gullah Geechee were known in that area.
Because that's who we are. You can put us anywhere in the world. We are survivors.
If you are really tapped in with your environment and you become one with that ecosystem, right? You know what I'm saying? That ecosystem begins to work with you.
We were robbed of our definition of who we were, which is our nationality and our tribe. And we fell into the description of what we were from someone else's eyes.
Resistance is not just about not only violence and physically fighting back, but there has to be resistance literature, resistance language.
A whole 2 detachments of U.S. soldiers got mowed down by the black Seminoles They destroyed an entire U.S. military force. Out of 110 people, they killed 108. That's damn good shooting.
The Black Seminoles were using all types of guerrilla warfare tactics, and these warfare tactics are studied in military schools to this day.
They didn't like Muslim slaves the same way they didn't like Indian slaves, because they weren't afraid to die.
Once you realize you're not safe, your children, your families aren't safe. The people who you're bringing in the world are not going to be safe long after you. There becomes a need to stand up and survive at all costs.
We are the Maroons. We are today's Maroons. We are the force that's moving forward. We will never be stopped.